Hello everyone, my name is Matthew and this is Learn the Lingo. Welcome to Lesson 2 of Hebrew Basics, a series on this channel where we learn the essentials of Hebrew grammar. In today's video and in the next couple Hebrew Basics lessons, we are going to be using vocabulary words from this video about Hebrew words about food, which we used in the first lesson of Hebrew Basics, as well as this video about Hebrew opposites. So, you don't have to watch these videos to understand these lessons, but if you want to already be familiar with the vocabulary we will be using, go ahead and check out those videos first. I'd like to start out today by introducing you to some very important words we need to study grammar: nouns, adjectives, and verbs. Nouns are people, places, things, or ideas. The food words we used in our last lesson are all nouns. They are things, foods. Adjectives describe nouns. The opposites we are going to be using today are all adjectives. They describe the nouns. And verbs are action words. They describe what nouns do. Jump, sleep, run, and see are all verbs. Every noun in Hebrew has what we call a gender. This gender is either masculine or feminine, and the gender of a noun will affect how certain words like verbs and adjectives will behave when they are describing the attributes and actions of that noun. Every noun is either masculine or feminine, even if the noun isn't a person or isn't even alive at all. There is no it in Hebrew, only he and she. Let's go over the gender of each of the Hebrew words we saw in the food vocabulary video. The words salat, salad, basar, meat, oaf, chicken, lechem, bread, karik, sandwich, malak, soup, and egoz, nut, are all masculine nouns. The words beitza, egg, uga, cake, and gavina, cheese, are feminine nouns. Notice how all these feminine nouns, beitza, uga, and gavina, all end with an ah sound, spelled with a kamatz and silent hey at the end of the word. If a noun ends with this ah sound, it is very, very likely that that noun is feminine. So this kamatz silent hey, ah, is a feminine ending. A couple other feminine endings are patak and tav, at, and segol and tav, et. Masculine nouns don't have any particular ending that sets them apart, and some feminine nouns don't either. So whenever we learn a new noun, we also need to learn its grammatical gender. So, every noun has a gender which is either masculine or feminine. Every noun also has what is called a number. This number is either singular, which means the noun is just one of a thing, or plural, which means the noun is many of a thing. All the nouns in our food vocabulary video were all singular, just one of a thing. And today we are going to see how to make them plural, more than one. We just saw that the word egoz, nut, is a masculine noun. And we can also tell that it is a singular noun because it is just one single nut. To make the word nuts, to make egoz plural, what we do is we add a hirik under the last letter, a yud after that, and a final mem at the end of the word. This says im, and so the plural of nut, nuts, in Hebrew is egozim. When we see this im ending, we know that a word is plural. This ending im is usually used with masculine words. Let's see the plural of another masculine noun, karik, which means sandwich. The plural of this word is karichim, sandwiches. Notice how the first syllable goes from ka to k. This is something very common when we add an ending onto a word. The accent gets moved away from that first syllable because usually in Hebrew, the accented syllable is the last syllable. In the word karik, the accented syllable was rik, which is right next to ka, but in karichim, the accented syllable is the last syllable chim, which is farther away from the first syllable. Since the accented syllable is now moved away from this first syllable does not get enough stress to have its own vowel sound, and so its vowel sound is shortened to a shva, karichim. So, keep an eye out for the first syllable of a word contracting its vowel sound when you add an ending, especially with words with two syllables, like karik. Now let's pluralize some feminine nouns. Let's take the word uga, which means cake. When we pluralize a feminine noun, we have to make sure it does not already have an ending that indicates that it is feminine and singular. In this case, the word uga has the kamats and he that indicate that it is feminine and singular, and so before adding the plural feminine ending, we have to take those off. So now we have this ug to add the feminine plural ending onto. The feminine plural ending is a vav with a cholam on top, followed by a tav. These make the sound oat. So the plural of uga, cake, is ugot, cakes. How would we pluralize the word beitza to make the Hebrew word for eggs? Well, first we are going to have to take off the ah ending that shows that it is a feminine singular noun. So now we have beitz, onto which we can add the plural ending. You would think because beitza is a feminine noun that we would add an oat, which is usually the feminine plural ending. However, to actually make the word eggs in Hebrew, we add the im ending, which is usually used for masculine plural nouns. So the word eggs is beitzim, with that masculine plural im ending. This plural of beitza and many other nouns is irregular, and unfortunately is something you just have to learn. But the good news is, this irregularity with plural nouns never happens with verbs or adjectives, and because of that, adjectives are a great way to learn masculine and feminine, singular and plural endings, and also because every adjective has a masculine singular, feminine plural, and masculine plural form. Let's see all these four forms with the Hebrew adjective ham, which means hot. The masculine singular form of ham is just ham itself with no change, and onto this masculine singular form, we can add endings to make the feminine singular, masculine plural, and feminine plural forms. When adding endings onto the adjective ham, we will need to change the final mem into a regular mem since it will no longer be the final letter of the word. So, to make the feminine singular form of ham, we will add the ending kamatz and silent he, which say ah. So the feminine singular form of ham is hama. To make the masculine plural form, we will add the ending im, which is hirik, yud, and final mem. That says im, and so the masculine plural form of ham is hamim. The form hamim is not only masculine plural, but it is also used with mixed groups of both masculine and feminine things. And the final form of ham will be the feminine plural form. To make that, we will add the ending vav with cholam and taf onto the end of ham to make an oat ending. So the feminine plural version of ham is hamot. So these are the four forms of a Hebrew adjective. Masculine singular with no ending, ham. Feminine singular with the ah ending, hama. Masculine plural with the im ending, hamim. And feminine plural with the oat ending, hamot. Ham, hama, hamim, hamot. Ham, hama, hamim, hamot. What's the deal with all these different forms for adjectives? Well, every adjective must have the same gender and number as the noun it is describing. So if we are describing soup as hot, we would see what gender and number the word marak, soup, has. This noun marak is masculine and singular, so we would use the masculine singular form of the word hot, which is ham. Ham would describe marak. How about a hot cake? Cake is uga, which is a feminine singular noun. So we would need the feminine singular form of ham, which is hama. Hama would describe uga. If we had hot sandwiches, hot karichim, we would need a masculine plural form of the adjective ham to agree with karichim, which is a masculine plural noun. And that adjective would be chamim. And lastly, to describe a feminine plural noun like beitzim, we need an adjective with the oat ending, which would be chamot, to describe hot beitzim, eggs. The adjective will always agree with the gender and number of the noun it is describing, even if the noun's own ending doesn't. Beit seem is feminine despite the im masculine plural ending it has, and so we must use a feminine plural adjective with an ot ending to describe the feminine plural beit seem. And also, if we were describing hot sandwiches and eggs, we have a masculine noun, kerichim, and a feminine noun, beit seem. When this happens, we use the masculine plural form of the adjective chamim, which is also used for mixed groups. And that's all for today. In the next couple of Hebrew Basics lessons, we are going to be learning how to use these adjectives to describe nouns in a few different ways. So if you're interested in that, please consider subscribing and turning on notifications so you don't miss those videos. Also, if you enjoyed this video, please consider liking it, sharing it, and commenting below. Thank you, and I'll see you next time.